Good morning people, London, Hammersmith, 7:30, bank holiday Monday. I'm starting my 10k steps in this beautiful British morning. What's going on with my frame here? We are reviewing a lens by 7Artisans, a 27mm F2.8 APS-C crop sensor for mirrorless cameras. Let's check it out. For today's videos, I'm using the Sony FX3 in terms of camera. And look at the lens, it's tiny. That's the pancake lens we're gonna talk about. 27mm, as mentioned, APS-C. Okay, so that's a cropped sensor lens. What does that mean? Okay, let's try to explain what a APS-C lens does on cameras. Basically, it crops the sensor, which is similar to a zoom in. Okay, so right now I'm using the full frame of the camera. I'm filming in 4K resolution, and that's why you are seeing the black corners around the edges, because I'm capturing full frame, but the lens sensor is not wide enough to match my camera sensor. To match it completely, we need to set the camera in crop mode, which you can do on the Sony mirrorless cameras, for example, the Sony FX3. And if we do that, these black corners will disappear and you will see a zoom in into the image, because we are using a smaller section, a smaller part of the sensor. Now, this is one of the issues. When we use a lens like this, crop sensor, on a full frame camera, and we crop also the sensor of the camera, we cannot film in 4K anymore. It kind of makes sense, right? Because we're using a smaller part of the camera sensor, so less resolution in a way, and that's why we can only film in full HD with the crop sensor lens, with the crop sensor settings of the camera. So we have two options actually which are equal. One is to film in 4K resolution, keep the full frame sensor of the camera, and crop that in post-production during the video editing if we don't want to do it in camera. It's not too bad at the moment, for example. There's not much corner, so you could potentially vlog with this lens, which is now 27mm, and of course you can zoom in post-production, making your image equal to a 40mm focal length. Or you can crop the sensor in camera right now and you get exactly the same image but in full HD. And that's why I'm editing this video in a full HD sequence, because I can zoom in and out because I'm filming in 4K. Quick example, I just switched my camera settings to crop sensor. So now you see me at 40mm but in full HD. And that's all you can get in your image. Well, I hope it makes sense, and the same thing happens when you're taking photography, alright? So if you take photos with this lens, keeping the full frame, you will see the vignetting. Your image though, your image file will be bigger in terms of weight and in terms of resolution. You will get a bigger image, but still you will have to crop in to have a clean image. Otherwise, you can crop the sensor of the camera and you get exactly the same result, but your image file will be smaller in terms of resolution and in terms of weight. In terms of supported mounts, so this lens was made for Sony E-mount, of course, Nikon Z and Fujifilm, as far as I know. I can see Putney Bridge right there. The whole circle here is around an hour, so I try to do it every morning before the gym and before my second breakfast. Let's talk about the body and the build of this lens. Made of aluminum, again tiny, pancake. We have a focus ring here in the front, which is actually quite hard to spin but smooth, so that's important. We have a USB-C port to upgrade the firmware of your lens, but keep in mind this body is not weather sealed. So filter diameter for your lens here we have 39mm. We can go straight into the dimensions and the weight. So Our lens here measures 64 millimeters by 48, and it weighs more or less 172 grams, so very light. I just found a piece of pottery which could be quite old. That's the great thing of walking along the shore here of the Thames, because you find treasures from previous centuries. I love it. Price, we can find this lens at $129 more or less. I dropped the links here in the description tab. Go and check it out. And also what's in the box. So in the box, of course, we'll find the lens, the front and the rear cap, one USB to USB-C cable to upgrade your firmware, and the warranty card, and that's pretty much it. Aperture wise, it's electronically controlled. We don't have a ring on the actual lens to change the aperture. It goes from f2.8 to f16, and we have 6 blades internally. So that's probably not the best flares or vignette or bokeh you can get out of the lens, because the elements are just a fewer compared to other lenses which have maybe 11 blades, which make better and smoother bokeh or rounder flares as well. Okay, as I've just tested the lens, we're gonna talk about some features before I forget, because I'm getting old. So vignetting, I noticed some vignetting in particular when we shoot at f2.8. When we go over f4, f5.6, the vignetting disappears, which is great. Same happens with the sharpness. At f2.8, the center is sharp, the edges are not that sharp, but when we go to f4 or f5.6, then the whole image becomes a bit sharper, which is good news. Distortion, okay, this is a mid-range focal length in the end, because it's a 40, well, equal to 40 millimeters, right? We still have some distortion even when used at 40 millimeters, especially when your straight lines are at the top, bottom, or the extremities of your frame. The center is pretty good, but still you can see some distortion basically around the whole sphere of the lens in the edges of your image. But by the way, is that kind of distortion you can change in post-production, especially in terms of photography. Okay, let's talk about the focus, shall we? So the lens supports manual and autofocus according to your camera settings as well. On the lens itself, we said we only have the manual focus ring, nothing else. It's supposed to be on paper a quiet autofocus, but actually if you are in a quiet environment you can hear it moving, you can hear the breathing, and especially if the microphone is on top of your lens, as I'm doing right now, and maybe you're doing, I don't know, interviews or whatever, vlogging in a quiet environment, you might be able to pick it up a little bit. I can hear it, okay? In terms of minimum focus distance, we can start pulling focus on a subject at around 30 centimeters. So we're gonna do a couple of tests right now. In terms of autofocus speed, I've been trying some photography. It's okay, it's quick, not as fast as other lenses like the G Master, you know, from Sony, that kind of professional glasses. Chromatic aberration, it's not too much. For some images you can do some fixing in post-production, and that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think in the comment tab about this lens. That was my feedback, my test, my review. Check the links as well if you want to purchase it. It's a cheap lens, of course, guys. It's a travel lens in my opinion, so if you want to travel light, that's an option. You can pack maybe 2 or 3 different lenses in your bag. For YouTube, no problem there. For photography, neither, because you can color grade and change some of the settings in post-production, so I wouldn't worry too much in that sense. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you in the next video. I'm going to enjoy this beautiful Monday. Take it easy.